I'm Rose Patterson and I'm a Research Fellow for the New Zealand Initiative. I conduct research into the education system that includes some comparisons with overseas countries and what kind of policies they have in place. And then we think about how that research might apply to the New Zealand context and make policy recommendations to government. So typically what we do at the initiative is when we have a new research topic, we address it in 3 parts. So the first part is always problem definition, so looking at the current system as it stands. So in our case, for the first series of reports that we did on education, which was on teacher quality, we looked at what kind of policies are in place already that would influence teacher quality at a system level. So things like teacher pay and how teachers are trained, what kind of people go into teaching and all that kind of thing. So we're laying out what is the situation in New Zealand at the moment. The second report typically is reliant on overseas research. So I was really lucky in 2013 to go overseas to some leading education jurisdictions like Singapore, Finland and Canada and a couple of others as well, and spoke with policymakers and educators and politicians over in those countries to look at, well, what kind of policy settings have you got in place for improving the quality of your teaching professions. And then the third report is thinking about how that research would apply back to the New Zealand context to improve things. So that's generally the progression, so the 3 reports. We can do all this research and it can sit on a dusty shelf, gathering dust and not actually influencing policy, but we're really interested in getting out there, talking to politicians, talking to policymakers, going out to conferences and talking about our research and making a difference. New Zealand has one of the widest disparities in student achievement, and it's explained by family background characteristics more than it should be compared to other countries. I mean, of course, the kind of environment you grow up in has an influence on how well you do at school, but school can overcome a lot of those disadvantages that some kids have, and in other countries they do that better than us. And I'm also really interested in trying to have an equitable education system. So that means making sure that every student, no matter what their background, has the opportunities to learn and the opportunities to get a good education. We're successful in some of the policy recommendations that we had around education policy and building a career structure for teachers. We think that's really important because teacher quality is essential for educational outcomes for young people. We want to ensure that teachers and schools are well equipped and have the freedom, I guess, to deliver education in a way that best serves the students in their classrooms, and only they can understand that at that local level. So if we can put policy mechanisms in place that encourage really strong, bright, young, motivated, dedicated people to go into teaching and stay in teaching, then we think that will have an impact on student achievement and student outcomes later on in their lives, and that's what it's all about. We here at the New Zealand Initiative, we think that New Zealand already has a really good education system, and a lot of educators and policymakers, politicians come from overseas to look at New Zealand's system and they ask us what are the secrets to success. And we always believe that there's room for improvement. We do well, and our top performing students are doing exceptionally well, but we're really interested in improving and making the system better, lifting the standard and making sure that the kids from those more disadvantaged backgrounds get the opportunity to learn as well.